Letitia James is out of the governor's race. I repeat, Letitia James is out of the governor's race. Let's talk about why. Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. So Letitia James has announced that she is out. She is not going to be running for governor. She's suspended her campaign, and she's running for re-election as Attorney General of the state of New York. In fact, they're saying that even her allies are really just jazzed and really excited about this move. Why? Why are her allies excited for this move? Because she's planning on going after Trump. She's going to, as stated, Attorney General of the state of New York, be looking into Trump's organizations. And of course, Trump in much of New York, especially New York City, is like public enemy number one. There's such a hatred for Donald Trump in New York. It's like it's almost pathological. It's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy because people hate Donald Trump not based on policy, because if you look, there's so much overlap in Trump's policies and somebody like Biden, but it's that the media went so hard, just completely used Donald Trump to personify everything bad about government. And even if that stuff was done by other people, when Trump did it, it was just so much worse because he's such a bad guy. He was just so just unrepentant and hateful, they'll say. But that's got people excited because she's like, okay, I've got other things to do. And people are like, yeah, she's going after Trump, he's going down. And I'm like, no, he's not going down, but she's showing up her resume. That's what Letitia James is doing, because the Democratic Party made something clear to her just recently. They made it clear that she's not going to be the next governor of New York State. So she actually did a smart thing. It's the contrast between somebody like Letitia James and de Blasio. De Blasio, just in his complete state of utter delusion, thinks he actually has a shot. So he's going to still try to run for governor. Letitia says, okay, I'm not going to exceed my current capabilities, but I'm going to make moves that will strengthen my position in the future. So she's going to put on a hell of a show. My prediction is that she's going to put on a hell of a show in going after Trump and making him squirm. I don't think he's going to be indicted. I think nothing will actually happen to him. Why? Because he's part of the club. Remember, it's a big club and we ain't in it. He is now, despite the fact that they will talk trash about him, he is part of the club now. He was a United States president. He's part of the club at such a high level that they're like, no, he can't be touched. You can go through the motions, you can put on performances, but he cannot actually be touched. And in fact, she's not so much as investigating him as she is investigating his organization. So this may result in fines or something like that. In some, you really shouldn't have done that. But this is not going to result in jail time for Donald Trump. He'll be fine. This is about her shoring up her resume for the next step in her career. I think she has a political ally in Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is not doing too great right now. In fact, Kamala Harris is under fire. They're doing stories about her. Some of the stories are just ridiculous. Fox News did a story on Kamala Harris talking about she spent $500 on cookware. How is this news? How is this news? Really? Okay. But on the other side, there are people who are like, oh, they're going to try to, leapfrog Pete Buttigieg ahead of Kamala Harris. No, she should be the next, the next in 2024. And I'm like, what 2020 race were you watching? Kamala Harris didn't make it to Iowa. What you may have heard is Kamala Harris didn't make it out of Iowa. No. What I said was Kamala Harris didn't make it to Iowa. Kamala Harris dropped out of the race before they got to Iowa. Before the primaries and the caucuses began, Kamala Harris had to drop out the race because there was no interest in her being the next president of the United States. That's how horribly she did. Kamala Harris did worse than Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard isn't even a Democrat anymore. like, realize that. Like, nobody wanted Kamala Harris. Nobody. Correction. The people that wanted Kamala Harris are, I guess, her AKAs. You know, because they like, okay, yeah, she's one of us in the White House. This is going to be good for all of us. Yeah, you know, we got the hookup now. Sorry. And, you know, because that's what this is about. You have to realize, when there are these people who are just pushing so hard for a particular candidate, not policies, pushing for a particular candidate that they are linked to, they are thinking about their own access to power, not about how that will enrich our lives, because it won't. These people will get into power and help out their friends. The people on the media you're seeing, the people pushing hardest for these candidates, those are the friends. Those are the friends that'll get the hookup once they get into office. Rachel Maddow, do you know why she was crying when Hillary lost? Because the amount of access she would have had to the White House, just like she would have been that chick. She would have been that chick had Hillary made it into the White House. Like Rachel Maddow would have been in control of MSNBC. Like she would have been queen of all media. But when Hillary lost, it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating to her. So think about how much power Sean Hannity had with Trump in office. See, he became, don't mess with Sean. Sean's got juice because the president got his back. Okay, but that's what it's about. It's not about policy. It's not about how it actually affect and improve our lives. It's about having a powerful friend in high places. And finally, in other news, Jussie Smollett was found not guilty of one of his charges. He was found guilty of all the other 5. but hey, he got an acquittal on one. You know, 1 out of 5 ain't bad. But apparently and obviously, nobody bought the ridiculous story, the other ridiculous story that he decided to tell when he got on the stand, which actually is interesting. It's interesting because they charged him for, disorderly conduct by lying to police. Are they going to charge him for perjury as well? Because he got up on the stand and told some just absolute nonsense. Just absolutely lied his butt off. So I wonder if they're actually going to go for him. They could actually say, okay, and since you decided to lie on the stand, we're hitting you with some perjury charges too. That would be... it's dude, just stop lying. Just stop. You shouldn't have got on the stand. You should have just ate that one. Nobody was buying the story anymore. It's over. You lost. You lost, man. Live with it. Live with it. There was no reason to keep trying to sell a story that nobody was buying. As always, don't forget to give me the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. And if you disagree with me, if you think that Trump is actually going down, if you think that now that Letitia James is staying in the Attorney General's office and going after him, he's actually going to get indicted and sent to prison, go ahead and give me the thumbs down and tell me why you think this time is different from any of the 500 other times when they almost had Trump and they didn't take him down. I'll see you next time.